Welcome to the second episode of the War Thunder Air Forces series, Class 102, The Basics. Today we're going to cover control setup, the 5 nations of War Thunder, and finally take a look at some basic air tactics. Alright guys, now that you know the basics, let's get into the meat of the game and set up your controls for your first flight. Go to Game Options, over to Interface, turn Indicated Airspeed on, yes. Set your ammo indication to always on. Okay. Back to menu, controls, reset to defaults, yes, advanced. Alright. Turn your instructor all off, or all nose right here. Under basic tab, I'd set your cannon to right click. Fire a rocket to first thumb button, if you have a thumb button, that is. You don't really need to worry about that quite yet. Reload guns. I'm moving this to T just because Y is a little far away from my hand. Lock target. This will be F. Replace. Throttle axis. Make sure this is set to relative control with a control step of at least 10%. Multiplier 1. No correction. I don't have hold throttle for our war engine power. Then roll axis A and D, pitch axis W for down, S for up, then yaw axis Q and E. And then last thing is toggle flaps. Tilde, flaps down 1, flaps up 2, and that's it for here. And then last part, view controls, up at the top. Zoom camera, I have this on my forward thumb button, and track enemy for R. Putting the lock and track right next to each other makes it a little easier. And that's all you really need to worry about for now. All this other stuff you can get to later. So hit OK. Don't worry about that. And you're good to go. Alright, now that your controls are set up, let's take a quick look at all the nations to give you a brief overview of them. The US, I consider to be a pretty balanced nation. They make pretty good energy fighters, not the best, but they definitely aren't the greatest turn fighters. I'd pick these guys if you don't really know what kind of style you like, because they can kind of do a little bit of everything. Germany make the best energy fighters. They have excellent engines, very excellent. It'll be hard pressed to find any other fighter that can outclimb theirs. Russians have the big guns that are quite fun to play just because, having a massive cannon that can just blow a plane to pieces in one hit's quite fun. Britain have armored turn fighters. They can outturn everybody but Japan, but Japan doesn't have any armor and have basically paper planes. So if you want a turn fighter, if you want to be in the thick of it and be able to take a couple of hits, go with Britain. If you want to be able to one-on-one anybody and outturn them, go for Japan. Alright, so I'm going to be going into this fight with a Tier 1 Jap fighter. No upgrades or crew skills added to it. Same thing you would have if you started playing the Japs right from installing the game. There isn't much information on the screen, but what you can figure out is that your team has 2 tanks, and they're going to be right into the middle of their artillery. Pretty basic map. It's what you'd expect, though, in a Tier 1 game. Now, the first thing you do when you spawn into a game is go ahead and just pull off to the side. Try and gain a little altitude. Wait for your team to go and see what they're going to do first. I'm going to test my guns out, just make sure I know where they're shooting from, so I can aim it a little better. Now the key to energy fighting is trading your potential energy, which would be your altitude, for your kinetic energy, which would be your IS, or your airspeed. So you want to go ahead and gain as much height before an engagement as you can. It'll make it a lot harder for people down below you to hit you and make you a lot safer overall. Now these two guys are just running straight into a fur ball of enemies all by themselves. Basically a death wish. You're going to see that in a second. This guy's basically screwed. And there he goes. Just instantly killed. Luckily that other guy on our team, as you saw right there, pulled back. Now I'm going to try to stick on this guy's tail. I'm having a little trouble hitting from far away, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. There we go. Now your crosshair right there, when it lights up red, starts flashing, you're about to overheat. Like right there. I keep shooting even though I took out his tail control. Without tail control, you're basically doomed to just fall into the ground. Which you'll see in just a second. Without your elevators or your rudder, you're not going to go anywhere but down. So I took him out. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling back up, heading towards the next closest enemy. But still trying to make sure I'm well within cover of my team. So here comes this I-15. Coming around beside him. Trying to make sure he doesn't ram me. Switch over to the Fury. Try to make sure he doesn't ram me. Keep looking around at my team, see how they're doing. Everything looks fine. Looks like we're tailing most of them. That is not something you want to do right there. Just flipping straight up in the air makes you nothing but a big target. You just got lit up. Gaining some more altitude, building my energy up before I get into another fight. Nothing happened over here. Looks like my team could use a little help over here. They're outnumbered pretty bad. So I'm going to do another boom and zoom. Just dive right onto this guy's tail. Also, it's worth noting to aim for that little circle in front of them. Just remember that circle indicates where your bullets will be by the time you shoot them and get there, as opposed to the center of their craft. So if you hit right in the center of that circle, you're going to be hitting right in the center of their fuselage. So you can aim either to the left or right of the circle, as it relative to their craft, and try and hit their wings off, or to the front for propeller, or the back to try and get the tail. I try and just shake it around it. Now I'm running out of speed and energy pretty badly, so this is not... Now right there is a guy who just tried to boom and zoom on me. But he just, instead of the zoom afterwards, he just goes right in front of me to commit suicide. I have no idea why I did that. Whenever you dive in on someone, always pull back up so they can't go and chase you down. Try and stay behind them at all costs. Now if you look on the left there, my craft is pretty damaged. Haven't lost any parts yet, but I'm riddled with bullets at this point. So I'm trying to play a little bit cautiously, not get anyone on my tail. gain some more altitude again. Trying to get in on this fight over here. Ran out of ammo, have to reload. It's a very long time without crew skills, 20 seconds. That's a long time to be out of bullets. Gain some more speed, height. Trying to pick another engagement. It looks like we outnumbered them pretty badly. If you look there, all the people who are grayed out are people who have quit the game or are out of aircraft. That blue parachute means that that's the last plane they were in, and they're not currently in a plane. Either they ejected or their aircraft was destroyed. And this guy just letting me sit behind him. Gotta do some evasive action when you have someone on your tail. Kind of worried about this KI behind me. But he's not going for me, he's going for my buddy. If you try and catch up to someone, always lead in front of them. And they rammed each other. Going for a strafe from this guy. Getting a couple hits in. Nothing critical yet though. About to get behind him. Nope, strafing him again. Yeah, the one time you can do an Emolyn is when you don't have anyone on your tail. If someone's shooting at you to do that, you're just a giant target. This is the one guy I've seen in this game who can actually fly and avoid fire. I damaged the elevator there, so he's not looking too pretty right now, but gotta reload, so he's safe for now. So I'm just gonna try and gain some altitude and drop back on him. Okay, someone took him out and someone's on my tail now. So I'm gonna dive and turn into him as much as I can. And it looks like he got knocked out. That's why you always stay near your allies. Nothing's worse than having an enemy on your tail and having no one peel him off for you. Yeah, they only got 5 people even in the game anymore on their team. It's basically over. Someone tried to ram me. I believe that's the same plane I'm in. Yeah, he can turn much better than my stock plane. Has me kind of worried. And that's a game. Alright, so that was a pretty decent game. Over here, now that you finished it, you got your whole end of game screen. It'll show you, like right here, what you've earned in your research from the points you've gathered. So I got a new plane. I can pick which one I want to research next. So that one looks good. Let's go with him. Then for each particular plane, the more damage you do, the more research you get. Right here, so you can unlock new items for it. So I'm going to buy the fuselage. I'll get a new belt, a compressor, now you should actually take a look and read the changes this gives you. Airframes will increase your structural integrity and usually reduce weight. Obviously an improved engine will help you climb faster, give you more horsepower. it's worth later on actually looking down and picking which one you want next. Though, none of them will actually be a detriment to your aircraft in general, so I'd go ahead and get any that you can. Oh, yes, buy all. Alright, and that guy's maxed out. Now over here, you can see up at the top the medals you get, the rewards you get for having each one of them, how many kills you got, how many ground kills you got, critical hits, normal hits, assist, how long you were in the battle for each of your planes, the experience you got, or research, total credits, and yeah. Then over here is the leaderboard for your team and their team. And that's it.